محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد, my brothers and sisters in deen, I enjoin upon you and upon myself the fear of Allah Ta'ala. In today's sermon, we will be reminding or drawing our attention to some of the teachings of one of the noble verses of the Glorious Quran, precisely Surah 63, that is Surah Al-Munafiqun of the Glorious Quran, verse 9. In that noble verse, Allah Ta'ala is saying, يا أيها الذين آمنوا قولوا who believe لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله. Do not be distracted, do not be diverted. لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله. Do not be distracted or diverted by your properties and your children from the remembrance of Allah Ta'ala. And Allah Ta'ala went further to say that وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ, whoever does that, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ, they are the losers. Allah the Exalted have honored us. He told us in various verses of the Quran, He created us, honored us. He said, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, we've honored the children of Adam. He put us on the right path. Then it is now left to us whether to maintain it or to deviate from it. So He tries to draw our attention at various places, making us to know the importance of us remaining on the right path and not to allow anything in this world to distract us from the path of Allah Ta'ala. So He said to us in this noble verse that لا تلهكم أموالكم, your wealth, your properties, ولا أولادكم, nor your children, shouldn't divert you from the remembrance of Allah Ta'ala. And when we talk about remembrance of Allah, we're talking about serving Allah Ta'ala. We're talking of obedience to Allah Ta'ala. We're talking about always being conscious of Allah Ta'ala. And when we talk about serving Allah or worshiping Allah or remembrance of Allah Ta'ala, we are not talking about something you do for Allah's benefit. Scholars always remind us from time to time, Allah never commands you with anything except what will be best for you. And He never prohibits you from anything except what will happen. Our service to Allah is different from our service to any other being other than Allah Ta'ala. Your being servant to Allah is an honor for you. But your being servant to any other thing which is not Allah, usually maybe if somebody say you are His servant, we don't look at it as what? It's an honor. Because in most cases, when you are servant to somebody, that person benefits from you more than you benefiting from the person. That is, if you are a servant to anything which is not Allah, that thing is using you. That thing benefits from you more. You offer that thing more than what that thing offers you. Most of your benefit goes to that person. If something is coming from him to you, it's little compared to what goes from you to him. Like my people here will say what? Any two neru abi, low neru abi. In Yoruba they say what? The owner of the servant is the owner of what? What the servant is carrying. If you have a servant, his property is your own because he is your property. So you own what He owns. Yes, in the case of Allah, He owns you. But when you work, it's for your own good. He doesn't need it. He only sets guidelines for you to have a good life. That's all. That's why Allah Ta'ala in the verse of the Quran said to us that Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, O you who believe, Istajibu lillah. Answer to the call of Allah wa ta'ala. وَلِلرَّسُولِ and to that the call of the messenger. إِذَا دَعَاكُمْ when both invites you. To what? لِمَا يُحْيِيكُمْ to what will give you life. So absolutely, when you look at worshiping Allah or ibadah, or you pick the Quran, the do's and the don'ts there are things that help you. Today we can see the state of the world. Whatever you have, so long as you take Allah out of it, in most cases it brings evil more than what? Good. It's when someone has power, if Allah is taken out of that power, He damages more than building. You see Fir'aun, he had power because he took Allah out of his word. The equation, what happens? He said, أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى I'm your Lord the Most High. That's what he said to the people. For some group of the people, he said what? We'll kill their boys and leave what? The girls. So he decides what to do with them. For his own benefit. Because of his own throne, it doesn't matter if he will slaughter all the boys born by that people. So we can see what our colonial master did with virtually all our countries where they colonized. They milked us. They enriched themselves at our own detriment. Even after saying we have independence, they are still what? One way or the other one, milking us. It's because before they leave, they structure things in a way that will continue to be what? Dependent on them, not in a way that you will become what? Self-reliant. So some of us who are not, intellectually vast, we may think they are what? Better than us. They are not better than us. We are doing our damage, they are also doing their own damage. We are doing our damage in our own way, they are doing their own damage in their own way. When you pick the Quran, what Allah tells you don't do in the Quran, when you check, there are things that harms you. Take for instance, yes, drugs. Allah prohibits drugs for you. As a Muslim, before anyone prohibits it for you, you've been taught by something that haram. Is it all intoxicants are what? Prohibited, and all what? Sorry, all intoxicants, he said all intoxicants are what? Alcohol. And all alcohol are what? Prohibited. So today you have many countries fighting drugs. Even in our own homes, fighting drug addiction, right? So before you fight it, Allah have told you, don't go close to it. You go close to it, you will survive it. Because people who don't think proper cannot what? Build a community. So if you check the Quran, Allah told you don't take any life unjustly. You see, when you don't take a life unjustly, the life of others is protected from you. And that person whose life is protected from you, he is also told not to take your own life. His is protected from you, and yours is protected from what? From him. Oh, they say don't kidnap, right? Yes, if you go into kidnapping, then you will be sleeping where? In the bush. When people are sleeping at home. If those you are kidnapping too, don't feel free at home. So everywhere what is organized. People cannot go to farm because they are afraid of what? Somebody kidnapping them. So when they don't go to farm, you too kidnapping will not get food to eat. Yes. Because the money will not turn to food. So you need those to farm for you to what? Have the food. Money can't turn to food until people are there to what? To farm. And if people get so much disturbed about your crime, what happens? They will also look for weapons to what? To protect themselves. Yes, to endanger their life, they also what? Endanger your own. It's like I used to say to people, if government is buying bombers or buying weapons, they are not buying weapons to kill animals in the bush. They are buying weapons to kill human beings who have turned themselves to danger to other human beings. So when you turn yourself as danger to them, they will also find a way of what? Facing you, whether collectively or individually. So if we have a society that is free of crime, certain weapons we don't even need to buy. You see, the money will be diverted to what? It will be useful to our communities. In most cases, money used on weapons, budget made on weapons are far, far more than what is needed to feed people. The unfortunate thing today, when people don't obey Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, see for example like the case of Ukraine. Yes, you have countries who are ready to provide money for what? For weapons to them. But you have few countries who are ready to provide money for humanitarian assistance. It's easy for us to kill. It's easy for us to raise money to buy weapons, but it's difficult for us to raise money to feed people hungry. That's when you have a society who doesn't think about Allah. That's how they are thinking. They think upside down. They think upside down. So Allah Ta'ala is commanding us that we should not be distracted by our wealth and children from what? The remembrance of Allah. Yet anything I usually say to brothers and sisters, only one thing in this life, when you submit your life to it, it never destroys you. That is only Allah. But any other thing, it destroys you. If you submit yourself to your emotion, it destroys you. That is, take for instance, if you are controlled by your anger, you will destroy. If you are controlled by your what? Your joy, what happens? You will destroy. If you are controlled by other human beings, they will destroy you. Take for example, you can have a friend, he is wrong, he is fighting somebody. What will he expect you? What does he expect you to do? What does he usually expect you to do? He is wrong, he is fighting somebody, so he's fighting wrongly. But he will say that because you are his friend, you're supposed to be on his side. If you have your husband and he is wrong, he's fighting somebody wrongly. If you are his wife, you will say, because you are my wife, you're supposed to join me to what? To fight. Don't be on the side of my enemy. The issue is your enemy is right, you are wrong. Yes, you are her husband. Allah commanded her to obey you when Allah have told her, not you only as the husband, even the father. Allah said, وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَنْ تُشْرِكَ بِمَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا. قُلْنَا لَا طَاعَةَ لِمَخْلُوقٍ فِي مَعْصِيَةِ الْخَالِقِ. Allah told us that what? Said the Prophet said, قُلِ الْحَقِّ وَلَوْ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ. Say the truth even if it is going to be what? Against you. So if I will say the truth if it is against me, then why do you expect me to not to be able to say the truth when it is against you because you are my friend? Allah told me that if I'm wrong, the other person is right, yes, I should speak the truth. And now you, because you are my husband, or because you are my wife, or because you are my brother, or because we are in the same party, then you expect me to lie for you. When Allah commanded me to what? To say the truth. That's why when we want to change our life, there are a lot of things we need to think. We see that there are a lot of things are not getting, are not going right. I usually say to my brothers and sisters, yes, there is problem with our leadership, but most of our problems is not leadership problem, it's societal problem, it's character problem, it's behavioral problem. We are not behaving well. We are not submissive to Allah. And so long as you are not submissive to Allah, that means your character is bad. The more submissive to Allah you are, the more decent you are character-wise. And the more distant you are from Allah Ta'ala, the more morally bankrupt you are. And the more morally bankrupt you are, then the more you destroy your society. Even if you have a prophet as your president, it doesn't change your society. Because you have the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Mecca. It couldn't change Mecca because the people in Mecca were not ready to follow you. So if you like bring Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as your president, he cannot change your country for you. You are not ready to change. Ma ala rasul illa al-bala. Even prophets, some prophets of Allah, not even the country, some prophets of Allah couldn't change their wives. I'm not talking of the country. There's some prophets of Allah couldn't change their own wives. Allah told you in the Quran, ضرب الله مثلا للذين كفروا امرأة نوح وامرأة لوط. Allah said كانتا تحت عبدين من عبادنا صالحين فخانتاهما فلم يغنيا عنهما من الله شيئا وقيل ادخلا النار مع الداخلين. Prophet Noah and Prophet Noah, in their own house, their own wives, they can change them. Yes, as a man, you can talk to your wife, but you cannot what? Certain level, you cannot force her. You can talk to your children at a certain level, you have limit. If you cross limit, even the government will come and arrest you with a child what? Abuse, right? Your own child. Yes. So you have limitation. So even right in your own house, you have limitation, and you expect the person, one person sitting there and then to change everything. If we want change, we have to begin to change ourselves. And as Muslims, you are not changing because of government. I keep telling us from time to time, you are supposed to change for Allah's sake. If government asks you not to do something, if Allah asks you to do, as a Muslim, you're supposed to even break it if you have the ability. Because you don't submit to a human being, disobeying your creator. But unfortunately for us, many of the things the government are asking us not to do, I think that also Allah have already asked us not to do. And that is why it's difficult for the government to change us, because we already disobeyed the person more powerful than them. We're not ready to obey Allah. He made us, He knows us. When He wants to damage us, He will damage us when He wants. And nobody can stop Him. Say, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُوَ. You don't have anti-Allah's fight. Anybody want to be have anti-Muhammad or anti-one bulletproof? So Allah says you cannot protect yourself from Allah when He wants to deal with you. And still people are still bold to what? To face Allah. Out of His mercy, He allows us to do whatever we want. Time will come, then you what? We will get hold of us. But now we're not better. And some of the things happening are part of it. Yes, to hold us, even today, we sit here, we see this country, that we can see what is happening globally. Even leadership, everybody is failing. It's everybody is failing. Don't think it is your own country that is a failure. No, every country is failing. No single country. But as a Muslim, don't lose hope. No matter how difficult the situation is, you submit yourself to Allah, obey Allah. He will show you way out. The country can be going bad, but Allah can still send you inside that same country. Allah protected Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam in the house of the same person looking for him. Yes, the same person looking for him. He is the only person around was looking for. Because of only him, he's killing boys, right? So he is still raised inside that house. That is Allah. So no matter how difficult you think things are in the country, first thing, you submit yourself to Allah. Allah will save you out inside the same country. You don't have to leave the country. Allah can provide you. It's not government that is providing you. It's not any human being that is Allah that is providing you. First of all, you go to your Quran, Allah will tell you. Many of us don't rely on Allah. And if you say you rely on Allah, maybe you did not rely on Him properly. You know, some will say they rely on Allah and they don't do what you're supposed to do. You know, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, and you just sit there and say you rely on Allah, things won't work. Have to do your own part and Allah will do your own part. You will not sleep at home and say Allah will that. And Allah will provide. That is laziness. The Prophet encouraged you to what? To struggle for sustenance. He said the best food to eat is what you eat out of what? Your sweat. So you not sleep at home. And you say Allah will open the door, or you sit on the road just talking from morning till night and you're expecting to walk. It can't work like that. You have hard work, and then Allah will put barakah into the effort. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala guide us all right. كل ما تستطيعون من ولكم هل ذنب كفر. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ولما بعد كان الله يوفيق ونفسي فرق الله عز وجل ورسل السنين. My advice to myself and the rest of us, as Muslims, we need to be conscious of Allah wa Ta'ala. Like I said before, being conscious of Allah is not just about you being in the mosque, or you fast, or you read Quran. But rather, being conscious of Allah is for Allah wa Ta'ala, His teachings to be seen in your life. Let His teachings be seen in your life as a politician. Let Allah's teachings be seen in your life as a businessman in the market. Let Allah's teachings be seen in your life as a security officer. Let Allah's teachings be seen in your life, even as a driver on the road. Like I gave an example while I was talking in house and language. As a Muslim, when you pick your car and you hit the road, when you horn, remember that Allah is documenting that horn. Don't feel you are only horning. Don't feel you are only pressing on. When you are horning, you are communicating with people. You are either communicating correctly or communicating what? Wrongly. Your communication is going to lead to something. So some people, because of the horn, they run. Some people, somebody can be driving an Okada and you will put a horn of maybe a car. You see, the Okada comes close to you and he press the horn, you think it's what? It's a car. So as you run thinking it's a car, maybe you hit somebody or you push somebody or you fall down and so on. Or maybe somebody driving small car and he puts a horn like that, looks like what? Trailer. Something like that. There are things we do that harm others. Or maybe you are driving on the road in the night, you put your light on someone deliberately intending to make the person blind. You see, you have evil intention as to why you put on the light, not for you to see, but for you to blind the other person. There are things we do, we don't pay attention. So as a Muslim, when you look at that verse, Allah was not talking to all mankind. He did not say, Ya ayyuhan nas. He said, Ya ayyuhan ladina amanu. That is, those he believe are what? Are reasonable people, conscious people, responsible people. Allah is cautioning us. So remembrance of Allah, as we say, it has to do with every aspect of your life. Somebody who is conscious of Allah, you'll be conscious of Allah as a husband, as a father, as a wife. You will be someone, and in any situation you find yourself, whatever you are doing, you are asking yourself, if I do this, how will I answer Allah wa Ta'ala? What will be written for me? When you talk to your wife, when you talk to your children, when you talk to your husband, when you talk to your neighbor, even as a Muslim, when you are relating with non-Muslims, you must know that consciousness of Allah is part and parcel of it. And like I said to us sometime, back, if you sit down and recite Quran 1,000,000 times, asking Allah to grant your prayers, and you don't live your life in conformity with that Quran, you are only wasting your time. The person who does not recite Quran even one time, that is, you will not recite it full one time, asking Allah for something, but who live his life in conformity to the Quran, using even Hausa language or Yoruba language or Igbo language to say, oh, Allah grant my prayer, Allah will grant his prayer. Allah is granting his prayer because of his closeness to Allah. What draws you closer to Allah is your level of obedience to Allah. And your level of obedience to Allah is measured by your level of compliance with the Quran. That's why the Prophet who had the best character, when Sayyidina Aisha was asked what was the character of the Prophet, she said to them what? None of the Quran. She said to them his character is the Quran. So the more attached you are to the Quran, the closer you are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number of times you recite. So today we have Muslims that are detached from the Quran. Muslims obey Allah Ta'ala. Remember Allah. Like I said, as politicians, as businessmen, as husbands, as wives, as civil servants, as whatever, their life will be different. Some aspects of their life is not based on these laws in their office. Some aspects of their life is determined by their own character. And being that their character is shaped by the Quran, definitely some things will be different. A good Muslim in an office, you should be able to drop your file on his table and you have no fear. If they ask you why, the reason is because what? He's a Muslim, that's all. Even if it is a non-Muslim that comes to your table as a Muslim, he should finish with you and wish to be like you. That is wanting to be a Muslim because he has seen what Islam made you to be. But today all of us are behaving the same. And when somebody says he fears Allah, what he means is that he doesn't miss his salah. So he recites his Quran. He fasts. But yes, when he goes out, when he leaves the mosque, what happens? He drops the Quran. The Quran is finished. Now he's going to outside like any other person. His politics is coming. There's other younger ones abuse elders. He too abuse elders like that. Yes, quite political era, right? It's not proper as a Muslim. Even if you want to campaign for anybody, abuse shouldn't be part of what you do. You as a Muslim, you are taught that Sibabul Muslim, abusing a Muslim is what? It's mischief. And fighting him is what? It's belief. So you don't have to abuse anybody, whether you have difference in political, you have different political parties or different ideology. You don't need to abuse anybody. Say your own idea and that's all. Leave everybody to himself. And also we should minimize over-digging ourselves. Yes, one bad character, over-digging ourselves. What do I mean by, and if you dig others, they will dig you too. And anybody they dig have something. Like I said, if you want to see the most evil person on the surface of the earth, is somebody who will come and tell you that he has never committed sin. That's the person. Because no single human being, no single one on the surface of the earth today that will tell you he have never committed any sin. If Allah just cover you, just say Alhamdulillah and leave other people with their own that Allah cover for them. But the difference between what you see and what you go to dig. The Prophet says in the hadith that whoever conceals the shortcoming of his brother, Allah will conceal his own shortcoming in this world and in the hereafter. He's not talking of concealing good, he's talking of concealing evil. Good, it is good for you to talk good about your brothers. You say that, Allah will reward you. And no matter how able sometimes you think somebody is, he has his good side. So when we begin to dig and say that nobody will be good to all, yes, then you can have people. Because everybody is what? It's people. You are able and people is people, so that's what. So we can have what? Allah Ta'ala change our characters and make us better Muslims. Those who will love one another, who will say things that will help us, who will do things that will make our country safer and better, who will be Muslims that yes, when other non-Muslims come close to them, they will wish to be Muslims like us. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اغفر لنا أمورنا واستر عوراتنا وآمن روعاتنا وقنا وتوفنا الصالحين. اللهم اغفر لنا أمورنا واستر عوراتنا وآمن روعاتنا وقنا وتوفنا الصالحين. اللهم اغفر لنا حلالك الحرام وقنا قلت عن أسواق اللهم اغفر لنا ولاة أمورنا واجعلهم في من خافك واتقاك يا رب العالمين. قال الله إن الله يعفو ويسعدكم بالسائل القربى وينهى عن فحشاء المنكر ويعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. واذكروا الله العظيم الجليل يذكركم واشكروه على آلائه ولم يذكركم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تخفون. الحمد لله.